Buster Douglas versus Mike Tyson. On February 11, 1990, in Tokyo, Japan, Mike Tyson was the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion. He had knocked out most of his opponents within a few rounds and was considered invincible. Buster Douglas entered as a 42-1 underdog, having suffered personal tragedy in the weeks leading up to the fight with the death of his mother. From the opening bell, Douglas fought with confidence, using his jab to keep Tyson at bay and mixing in sharp combinations. Tyson landed dangerous hooks in close, but Douglas absorbed them and responded with flurries. In the 8th round, Tyson dropped Douglas with a right uppercut, but Douglas got up at the count of 9. In the 10th, Douglas unleashed a rapid 4-punch combination, finishing with a right uppercut and a left that sent Tyson to the canvas for the first time in his career. Tyson fumbled for his mouthpiece, rising too late to beat the count. Douglas's knockout win became one of the most famous upsets in sports history. Hasim Rahman versus Lennox Lewis. On April 22, 2001, in Brakpan, South Africa, Lennox Lewis was the reigning WBC and IBF heavyweight champion, widely regarded as the best in the division. Hasim Rahman was a solid contender but a significant underdog, with few giving him a chance to dethrone Lewis. Fighting at altitude, Lewis appeared relaxed, perhaps overconfident. Rahman stayed disciplined, using his jab and occasional right hand to keep the champion cautious. The pace was measured until the 5th round, when Lewis backed into the ropes after missing a combination. Rahman seized the moment, stepping in with a perfectly timed overhand right that crashed into Lewis's jaw. The champion collapsed, dazed, and couldn't rise before the referee's count reached 10. Rahman's knockout instantly elevated him from fringe contender to heavyweight champion, marking one of the era's most dramatic upsets. The upset was set up by weeks of underestimation, with Lewis spending more time on promotional events than in focused training. The South African venue's altitude and Rahman's conditioning played a subtle role, allowing him to maintain pressure. Ringside, the shock on the commentators' voices mirrored the disbelief in the arena as the referee waved it off. Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua. On June 1, 2019, at Madison Square Garden in New York, Anthony Joshua was making his U.S. debut as the undefeated unified heavyweight champion. His opponent, Andy Ruiz Jr., had taken the fight on short notice after Joshua's original challenger tested positive for a banned substance. Ruiz's stocky frame and quiet demeanor led many to underestimate him. Joshua started strong, dropping Ruiz with a left hook in the 3rd round, but Ruiz responded immediately, flooring Joshua twice in the same round with quick, compact hooks in close. The champion never fully recovered. Ruiz continued to pressure Joshua, landing combinations whenever the champion tried to exchange. In the 7th round, another flurry forced Joshua to his knees, and the referee waved it off. Ruiz's TKO win made him the first Mexican-American heavyweight champion and one of the sport's most unlikely title holders. Ruiz had been called in with just over a month's notice after Jarrell Miller failed multiple drug tests, leaving fans and pundits skeptical of his chances. His quick hands for a heavyweight and relentless combinations kept Joshua from regaining control. In between rounds, Joshua's corner could be seen searching for answers as the crowd in Madison Square Garden grew restless. Leon Spinks versus Muhammad Ali. On February 15, 1978, in Las Vegas, Muhammad Ali was a global icon and reigning heavyweight champion. Leon Spinks was a 7-fight professional and former Olympic gold medalist, considered far too inexperienced for such a challenge. From the start, Spinks fought at a relentless pace, throwing punches in bunches and forcing Ali to work harder than expected. Ali, slower than in his prime, tried to conserve energy, but Spinks's pressure and awkward angles piled up rounds. After 15 grueling rounds, the judges awarded Spinks a split decision, making him the only man to defeat Ali for the heavyweight title in the ring. The upset stunned the boxing world and remains one of the sport's most famous underdog victories. Spinks's camp focused on keeping the fight at close range, smothering Ali's jab and forcing inside exchanges. The youthful challenger's confidence only grew as the bout wore on, with him matching Ali's verbal taunts and answering back with quick combinations. The scoring reflected Spinks's steady work rate, with judges rewarding his ability to dictate the terms of engagement. Manny Pacquiao versus Oscar De La Hoya. By the end of round 8, Oscar De La Hoya sat on his stool with his left eye nearly shut while his trainer signaled the fight was over. Moments later, Manny Pacquiao was declared the winner by TKO. Before December 6, 2008, many expected the naturally larger De La Hoya to dominate a smaller man jumping up in weight. From the opening bell, Pacquiao's speed and southpaw angles dictated the terms. He stepped around De La Hoya's jab and stabbed straight lefts down the middle, then finished with bursts to the body. Freddie Roach's between-rounds commands kept Pacquiao busy. Lateral movement first, counters over the jab second. The punch stats told the story. In round 7, Pacquiao landed more power shots on De La Hoya than any prior opponent had in a single round. De La Hoya's output dipped as his face marked up and his timing vanished. When he remained on the stool after the 8th, the stoppage confirmed a torch-passing performance. Pacquiao vaulted into global superstardom. De La Hoya never fought again. The night became shorthand for speed and precision, overwhelming size and reputation. Corey Sanders versus Wladimir Klitschko. On March 8, 2003, in Hanover, Germany, Wladimir Klitschko was a 26-year-old champion with a near-perfect record and a reputation for technical control behind a heavy jab. Corey Sanders, a 37-year-old southpaw who had boxed only sporadically in recent years, was seen as a stay-busy defense for the rising star. From the opening bell, Sanders' timing unraveled the script. He slipped inside a jab and drove a straight left through Klitschko's guard, dropping him late in the first round. Wladimir beat the count but was floored again seconds later by another left as the bell intervened. The champion returned on shaky legs. Early in round 2, Sanders stepped in behind the same punch and scored a third knockdown. Moments later, a final straight left deposited Klitschko on the canvas for the 4th time. The referee waved it off at 2:27 of the round. In under 5 minutes, Sanders had seized the WBO title and authored one of the clearest heavyweight upsets of the era. Antonio Tarver versus Roy Jones Jr. 2. On May 15, 2004, at Mandalay Bay, Roy Jones Jr. entered as a 4-division champion, coming off a disputed win over Antonio Tarver 6 months earlier. Many expected a sharper Jones to adjust and pull away in the rematch. Tarver arrived convinced the openings he saw were still there. Round 1 favored Jones, whose speed and counters looked familiar. In round 2, the moment that defined the rivalry arrived. After a break, Tarver asked, "Got any excuses tonight, Roy?" Seconds later, Jones threw a lead right with his left hand low. Tarver slipped and fired a short, arcing left hook that detonated on Jones's chin. Jones's legs stiffened and he sank into the ropes, beating the count but clearly concussed. The referee waved it off at 1:41 of the round. Tarver took the WBC and ring titles with a single counter, delivering one of boxing's most famous upset finishes and shattering the aura of invincibility around Roy Jones Jr. Michael Spinks versus Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes stood at 48-0 on September 21, 1985, one win from tying Rocky Marciano's 49-0 record. Michael Spinks, the undefeated light heavyweight champion, was moving up to heavyweight for the first time and was widely viewed as too small to unseat an undefeated ruler with 19 successful defenses. Spinks chose speed over power. He circled, jabbed to head and body, and disrupted Holmes's rhythm with awkward step-ins and quick flurries before angling away. Holmes stalked but struggled to pin Spinks down or land the right hand cleanly. When he did, Spinks answered with movement and counters. After 15 rounds, the judges scored it 145-142, 143-142, and 145-142 for Spinks. The result made him the first reigning light heavyweight champion to win the heavyweight title and delivered Ring's upset of the year. A stunned crowd absorbed the decision as Holmes, frustrated at missing Marciano's mark, vented at the post-fight press conference. Roberto Duran vs. Sugar Ray Leonard 1. On June 20, 1980, Olympic Stadium in Montreal staged a clash between undefeated WBC welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard and former lightweight king Roberto Duran. Leonard's speed and footwork made him the favorite. Duran's pressure and infighting dared Leonard into a trench war. From the opening bell, Duran cut off the ring, slipped jabs, and crowded the exchanges. Leonard answered with pride, fighting more flat-footed than usual and trading inside. Duran hammered the body and mixed in jolting hooks upstairs, forcing Leonard to work in spots he normally controlled with his legs. The later rounds saw Leonard box in spurts and nick frames with cleaner shots, but Duran's early lead and inside success held. After 15 bruising rounds, the judges returned a unanimous decision for Duran. The upset lay not only in the result, but in the way Duran pulled Leonard away from his strengths and won the style battle he demanded. Tyson Fury versus Wladimir Klitschko. On November 28, 2015, in Dusseldorf, Wladimir Klitschko carried an 11-year unbeaten run and multiple heavyweight belts into the ring. Tyson Fury, 27, towered at 6'9", but was viewed as unproven at the elite level. Most expected a disciplined Klitschko decision or late stoppage. Fury's plan turned the fight inside out. He feinted constantly, switched stances, and circled to deny Klitschko's setups for the right hand. When the champion jabbed in, Fury clinched back or slid out, leaving Wladimir hesitant. The output plunged. By mid-fight, Klitschko looked bewildered as Fury banked rounds with quick counters and ring generalship. Klitschko rallied late, landing his best shots in the 12th, but Fury answered and cut him in an exchange. The cards, 116-111, 115-112, 115-112, made Fury the new champion and ended the long Klitschko era. In a surreal coda, Fury sang to the crowd, capping an upset defined by tactics and nerve rather than heavy exchanges. Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko. On October 17, 2020, Vasily Lomachenko entered as a pound-for-pound elite and three-division champion. Teofimo Lopez, 23, held the IBF lightweight belt and thunder in both hands, but few believed he could outbox Loma over 12 rounds. Lopez established himself early with a stiff jab to head and body, then stepped left to deny angles. Lomachenko's output stayed unusually low through the first half as Lopez banked rounds and kept him reset. When Lomachenko surged in the eighth, slicing in with combinations and upping volume, Lopez absorbed the rally and refused to give ground. The 12th round settled it. Lopez threw with full authority, outlanding Lomachenko in the most decisive frame of the fight and opening a cut. Scores of 116-112, 117-111, and 119-109 made Lopez the undisputed lightweight champion. The upset was tactical, youth and a disciplined plan outmaneuvering one of the era's most gifted technicians. Jeff Horn versus Manny Pacquiao. On July 2, 2017, in Brisbane, Manny Pacquiao defended his WBO welterweight title against Jeff Horn, a 29-year-old former schoolteacher with modest name recognition outside Australia. Many expected a routine points win for Pacquiao in a stadium showcase. Horn made it rugged from the start. He crowded Pacquiao, leaned with his upper body in clinches, and threw looping rights from odd rhythms. Accidental clashes opened cuts, and the bout turned gritty. In round 9, Pacquiao unleashed a barrage that badly hurt Horn and nearly forced a stoppage. The referee warned Horn's corner to show me something before the next round. Horn answered with bustle in the championship frames, muscling inside and flurrying when Pacquiao set to punch. After 12 rounds, the cards read 117-111, 115-113, and 115-113 for Horn. The decision sparked heated debate. CompuBox favored Pacquiao heavily, but the official result crowned a hometown underdog and delivered one of the decade's most argued upsets.